be bold, be heard. Welcome to Unmute Your Mic with your host, Jessica Bell.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Unmute Your Mic. My name is Jessica Bell. I am your host as always. So today, this show is going to be a little bit different. I want to do just a quick recap talking about some of the amazing people that we have had over the past 7 episodes. I always like to do this kind of break and off week so I can really talk about the things that I have been learning during this process. Unmute Your Mic for me is really a platform where people get to share what it is in their story that kind of has gotten them to where they've been. And I've been really blessed and honored to have some people who have been so transparent and so vulnerable in sharing those things because they don't have to do it. So I want to just talk a little bit about the people I've already had interviews with and some exciting things that are to come. I also want to let you guys know that you can now find Unmute Your Mic on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you cannot catch the video on Facebook or even on YouTube, you can also listen to us on any of those platforms. So I'm super excited to make Unmute Your Mic more reachable for other people. So one of the interviews I wanted to talk about first was the one with my cousin, J Mac. This was one of my favorite interviews simply because, yes, it's my cousin, but also I think it's great when you can see people come out of situations that a lot of us maybe can't even imagine being in, and they still have such a positive outlook on life. I learned so much with interviewing him, and J-Mac had recently been released from prison, and he's out here doing so many things in the community already, which is one of the reasons why I really wanted him to share on Unmute Your Mic. We talked about literally everything, but more so the importance of just keeping your head straight and, using the time that God has given you to go out and do what he's called you to do. So you guys check that out here. That's so true, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. So that also leads me to ask you, what is it that made you when you were in there? Because I know a lot of people who go into prison and they come out the exact same person. So what do you think it is about you that made you say, I'm going to get my life together and I'm going to come out and be able to, be the best person that I can be, so I'm not just going to waste this time while I'm in here?
Well, to be real, man, I went in kind of young, I went in like I just turned 22, so I went in kind of young. So actually, when I went down, I was on some young rah-rah stuff, kept getting into fights, and ended up getting into a ride, and I sat down, and they was like, the people came to my door and let me know I wasn't getting out till 21. I said, hold on, wait a minute, hey, I had to change it up, man. So for real, I kind of I don't like to do the same thing over twice, I bumped my head once, I learned from my lessons, so I knew I couldn't come out and be the same thing, man. I done seen so many people when I was down come right back in, you know what I mean? And I couldn't be that again, man. I couldn't just keep going through that, and I couldn't put my family through that again. They held me down, my sister, my grandma, my mom, you know what I mean? They held me down while I was down, so I couldn't put them through that no more. So I came out here and just did something totally different. I ain't touched no drugs, ain't moved nothing, ain't did nothing illegal, just been grinding with this music. So I had to change it all the way up.
What do you think? What was the hardest thing about being locked up? Obviously being away from your family, but was there anything like a mental shift or anything that you had to change in order to get yourself to move forward?
Man, the hardest thing for real is having to depend on somebody else to eat and to wash your body right. You know what I mean? If don't nobody send no money to your books, it's hard in there. You know what I mean? So you got to depend on somebody else your whole time you down. If somebody tell you they gonna do something, they can't do it or don't have time to do it. So that's probably the hardest thing is having to depend on somebody else. Because especially when you come from people depending on you. So it's a real eye opener, letting you know like who's in your corner and how the struggle really is, because in there you by yourself, you know what I mean? You by yourself, you in the struggle for real.
So I hope you all enjoyed that clip of J Mac. If you haven't caught that interview, you can catch it on YouTube. as well as, like I said, Apple and Spotify. So, one thing I really pride myself on and I'm really excited about with Unmute Your Mic is the different type of guests that I have. I wanted to make sure that I didn't just stay in one vein. I wanted people from all different walks of life with, great accomplishments on a major level, accomplishments in their community, everything being important, of course, but I really wanted to make sure I had a wide range of people. So another one of the interviews I really enjoyed doing was Ken Kraft, who was out in Los Angeles, California. He actually created an amazing organization called Hope of the Valley, and that organization has really been serving the homeless community for a very long time now. That was a very eye-opening interview for me, mostly because though I have a lot of things I'm passionate about, the homeless community isn't something I've had a lot of hands-on experience with, but he gave so many great tips about just starting an organization in general, whether it be a nonprofit or a business. He gave amazing tips, and I always think it's so good to hear information from people who have started something from the very ground up and work their way up. So check out this clip of me and Ken discussing a little bit of that.
You can't do it by yourself. Okay, someone jokingly said even the Lone Ranger needed Tonto. Okay, we all need people in our lives. And so I truly believe one of the great successes of Hope of the Valley is our ability and willingness to collaborate. We work with every agency. And to me, that's so important. An example, there are many rescue missions that will not take government funds. Okay, that's just kind of their belief system. They feel that maybe it would cause them to compromise who they are, and I'm not like that. Okay, I believe actually we can help more people by collaborating with the government. And I believe a public-private partnership is one of the strongest partnerships to be able to help people. And so whether it's the Department of Mental Health, okay, we have their employees on site with us. One of the sites that we created is called the Help Center, and it's in Van Nuys. And when I had the opportunity to build this place out, I said, you know what? Let's create 20 offices. Why? We only needed 4. Why would I build 20 offices? Because I wanted to create a one-stop shop that was in the best interest of our clients, the homeless. Okay, so that when they come to us, instead of saying, okay, now that you're here, you can drive 6 miles over here to apply for your driver's license, 10 miles this direction to get your social security card, oh, to get your EBT card. No, we brought everybody on site in one location. Why? Because we can't do it all. Okay.
It was really great to be able to interview Ken. In the bio below, I'm going to be putting everybody's information. So I want you guys to stay connected with these people. And with Ken, please stay connected with Hope of the Valley. They are always taking donations as they're building new shelters and things for the youth and for other homeless people in the Los Angeles area. They can always need you guys' help, even if it's volunteer time. Please stay connected with them. Another one of the interviews I did over the last couple weeks was with Prince Purposed. He's also out in Los Angeles, California. And that was a very eye-opening interview for me. We covered a lot of different topics. We talked about divorce. We talked about purpose. We talked about heartbreak. And these are all things that, I love to talk about on a regular basis. So we had a great conversation that I thought really flowed. I took a lot of stuff from that interview, but most of all, it was just really making sure that I'm desiring God above everything else, and that when we really have that relationship with God, we get to a place where, we don't desire and crave the things of the world. So check that out here.
I made a covenant with God, and I said, okay, God, I'm going to put any type of inebriation, because I was at the point where I was like, I smoke weed, I drink at night, and then pop like some NyQuils, and I just couldn't even sleep without inebriating myself. Yeah. And so I made a decision for 12 months. I basically told God, like, 12 months, just give me I'll give you 12 months, and I want to understand the Bible and just kind of just speak to me. And I just talk to God like that. And man, within 3 months, you know, I just the desire of inebriating myself or smoking or drink, all of it just left my life, you know, and
Wow.
that was 2008. You know, we're going on 2021. We're
Yeah.
talking like close to 13 years ago, you know, and I just never, to me, it's only become more and more grotesque, you know, with each passing
Mm-hmm.
year. You know, it turns my stomach sometimes even thinking about it, you know, and hurts my heart really for the brothers and sisters that I see that are really controlled by it and don't know it. But again, no judgment. And some people can do certain things with you know, with a bit of sense, you know, you have a glass of wine or whatever. And I mean, to each his own. I just know for me, it was the stronghold that was broken that allowed the truth to come into my life. And it seems as though it happened instantaneously, but it was a long, like I mean, I'm talking about, I was drinking at like 12 years old, you know, smoking cigars and all that sort of stuff. So by the time I was 20, it's like, when I thought about it, I was like, man, this thing has had a hold on me for like 10 years, you
Yeah.
know. So it's about time, dude. And I wanted to know, it was about like, does this really have a hold on me? Can I just let this go?
Mm-hmm.
And come to find out, you know, without the grace of God and the help of God, I probably would, I know I wouldn't have been able to, you know, overcome that thing. But in doing that and letting go of that one thing, you know, it opened the door to all of God's truth.
I hope that you all stay connected with Prince Purpose. His music is also amazing. So I'm going to put all that information below as well, so that you can download his music and really support him in his journey and the things that he has got going on. Otis is a really good friend of mine, and we covered a lot of things regarding real estate and mental health. I think that some of the tips and the jewels that he shared regarding his real estate journey were really inspirational to me, as far as, you know, learning that you need to keep going, and learning that certain communities don't always take advantage of some of the things that we have, because we simply just don't know what they are. I know that after I did the interview with him, I did a lot of research on home ownership and the importance of that, and how to really set myself up to get into position to have that in the near future. And then, of course, I love the fact that we talk about mental health. I think that mental health is one of the big things that we don't always address. And even if you're personally struggling with it, you don't always feel comfortable talking about it. So check out this clip here of me and Otis having a conversation about just the shift in mindset and the way that you've got to think in order to be not only successful in real estate, but really just successful in all aspects of our life.
Difference, right? Of truly evolving out of a scarcity mindset has been the biggest thing, right? It takes a lot of faith, right? Like when you have a job, like, you know, like if I go to work, like I'm gonna get a check every 2 weeks, right? Or so. And so right now, building a business and an infrastructure and a brand on your own back, there's a lot more risk involved, right? Because I work 60 plus hours a week to hopefully get paid, right? I work solely commission, right? And I've been on solely commission for years now, right? And so that's very tough, right? That's challenging just mentally, because the mindset is that I'm not going to make it. I need the security, and that was my mindset for so long. Fast forward to today, where I can imagine not just from the freedom aspect, but if I'm going to put all my energy and effort into something, it might as well be for me, right? And so the biggest thing I would say the difference is my mindset, transitioning from it being very very scarcity and to like more of a faith based and abundant type of mindset, because you have to be when there's nobody to to lean back on and nothing else to lean back on. And so again, don't get me wrong, I don't want to by any means make it seem like it's easy. It's very, very, very hard to get to that transition. It took me some years, right? So it didn't happen overnight. But I would encourage anyone that's even on the brink about it is really trust yourself and believe in yourself. You can do more than
So anybody who knows me knows that just building up the young people in today's generation to be able to be everything that they can be despite any circumstances that may come their way. So when I saw that Tyler Merritt from Los Angeles, California had started her own lip gloss line, I took advantage as quick as I could to be able to reach out to her mother, De'Ara, who is a good friend of mine, and ask her if I was able to bring her daughter onto my platform. I think that it was so inspirational to be talking to a 10-year-old, well now 11-year-old, happy birthday Tyler, today is her birthday, about how she manages her time, about how she has a dream that she doesn't want to give up on. And I think that there is so much that we can learn just from a child. I think being encouraged by children, they're so innocent, their hearts are so big, and the world, like, they literally have the mindset that the world is theirs. And I think that that's something that we all need to get back to. So I thoroughly enjoyed my interview with her, not only being the fact that she was 10, but I was actually learning things because she had literally started a business from scratch from an idea she had. And she used a lot of the time that she had during quarantine, where, you know, we're kind of just like not knowing what's next and we're sitting around, and she decided to create something. I also loved that her mom, De'Ara, who joined in for the second half of the interview, really shared about how she supported her daughter's dream and how she's teaching her about money and teaching her about how to be a true business owner and making her work for the things that her business needs. That entire interview was very inspirational. I thank you again, Tyler. You guys check this out. What other things did you have to learn regarding business?
I had to learn how to save money, figure out how much I need to sell things for to make back most of the money that I spent. I had to work on keeping the same recipe, making sure that my lip gloss wasn't too sticky, wasn't too thick, making sure that I used the same products every time, and making sure that I didn't give up on what I was doing. And I know that when you're successful, you like what you're doing, and you know that you're good at it, and you want to keep pushing yourself to do it.
So what was it that made you not give up?
Because when I looked at it and I seen that it's something that I actually wanted to do, I said I should actually keep doing this and making more and selling more and getting back more feedback. And I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of positive energy, and I saw that people actually liked my product and they actually thought that I should keep on selling more and adding more products.
Okay, so did you have anything that you struggled with at first that maybe you had to figure out?
At first, I struggled with keeping the same colors, but then I got the hang of it, and I said, okay, I need to add an exact amount of this, exact amount of that, and then I figured out with my clear.
Please make sure that you guys all support Tyler and Brown Girls Lip Care. She sent me a whole package of all the different ones, and I was so excited to try them. They are absolutely amazing. I'm definitely going to continue to support her. I am going to buy them as gifts. So please support a young entrepreneur who is really working hard to build her empire from the ground up. If you guys are just now listening and tuning in, I am Jessica with UnMUTE Your Mic, and I'm covering some of my favorite moments from the past 7 episodes. So with that being said, Kate was also an interview that I really love doing. And I know I'm kind of sounding like a broken record, but I've just really been blessed with having an amazing group of people who have been very transparent with me. Kate shared a lot of very vulnerable things about what she's been going through as she's kind of been on her road to recovery and being clean and being a mother and she's got two beautiful girls, being a wife, and she really was very open and very helpful with telling other people some of the things that they can do on their road to recovery. What I loved about her story and about stories of recovery in general is that nobody's story looks the same. We all have different stories, and we all have things that we're recovering from. And so I don't take it lightly that she was so open to share some of the things that she has been struggling with, because I feel like her story is a lot of people's stories, and they don't always have the platform to talk about it or are willing to talk about it. So, Kate, I really appreciate that, and I want you guys to check out this clip now.
My only advice is to just try. Do what you can. Talk to somebody. There are so many people that, even if it's not AA, it's find a therapist, find a friend, talk to. There's so many people out there that are struggling. And do what feels right to you. I was actually having this conversation with a friend earlier, and we were talking about journaling. I could not journal for the life of me. It doesn't make me feel good. But what makes me feel good is writing down bullet points for my day, writing down things that, having a gratitude list. I can't journal and write today was amazing, or today was so hard and the kids did this and that, that just doesn't, that's not what feels for me. But what feels for me is having a gratitude list every morning and saying, I am grateful for these things. I read a devotional every day. I have my village of mom friends and my village of friends, even without children, that I call them truth talks. And I've just tried to open up, because there's so many people out there struggling, not just with addiction, but with mental health, with, you go manic, and there's up and downs every day. But for me, I just try to, every minute is a new minute.
And last but not least, one of the interviews that I did with Pastor Daryl and Teresa Ordell, which actually was one of the ones I was getting most of the feedback from, and people were really asking more questions and wanted to know more about marriage. So Pastor and Daryl and Teresa were the first time that I had decided to do a married couple on the interview. And like I said earlier on, I wanted to make sure that I have a wide range of people. So single, married, pastors, rappers, singers, mothers, just a lot of different people who have different stories. So Pastor Daryl and Teresa were extremely entertaining. They gave some amazing points on self-worth and making sure that you know who you are before you enter into a marriage or a relationship of any type. And I think we all need that reminder. We all need the reminder to know and remember that we have to see ourselves how God sees us, that we ultimately set the standard for how people treat us. So I know I needed that reminder, and obviously a lot of you guys did too, because I got so much feedback on that interview. I definitely will be talking to them again and reaching out to them so I can hit some more topics specifically that people were reaching out to me about. They also do one-on-one coaching, so I really want you guys to stay connected with them. And a lot of the people who have reached out to me, I'm going to be sending you guys their way so that they can further pour into you guys in a way that I am not able to do. So check this out.
Before we got together, I was dating this judge, and I was dating this judge, and he wanted to drag this thing on for years, And so he flew me to the Bahamas, and I said, well, I won't stay with you. You have to send a friend. So he flew with my friend with me, all inclusive. And I said, I love to come, but there are certain boundaries. And he respected that. But there was a moment when he wanted to drag on my time. And I remember driving him to the airport one time when he was in the States visiting. And I said, I can't give you all this time. I said, I know my value, and you're on this. If you don't know me by now, you never gonna know me, Ooh. And he said something to me that blew me away. He was getting out of my car. He said, women don't miss out on a guy like me. I'll talk to you tonight. And he literally got out the car and walked in, and he literally thought he was going to talk to me that night. And I was like, a guy like you, but do you know who I am? And it was that moment of truth where God says, is he determining who you are, or am I determining?
Exactly.
And then I found him.
Exactly.
And it was
Nancy
like,
found me.
You know, so it's this journey. So,
but I think it's also letting yourself know the truth. You said God knows, but you have to tell yourself. So if we talk about it from a spiritual perspective, yes, God knows. But how does that relate to this plane? We have to tell ourselves, this, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And you know, a lot of times we as people of color, we don't believe in affirmations. We don't believe in talking to ourselves and those kind of things. But we have to speak the truth to ourselves. You can use the scripture and
use the word.
Use the word. I'm not saying you use the word, but you should also tell yourself, this is who I am. This is what I am. And when you do that, you decide whether you're going to settle for those things or not. Because when that frivolous stuff comes your way, when you see that dude and you know,
or you get that treatment where you're treated like you just aren't valuable.
Yeah, I had a.
So I want to thank you all for walking down memory lane with me and recapping the past 7 episodes of Unmute Your Mic. I'm extremely thankful for everybody that has agreed to be a part of the show so far. Like I said earlier on, you can now find Unmute Your Mic on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Of course, obviously on Facebook, and subscribe on YouTube as well. Thank you everyone who has shared, reposted, commented, and liked on the video. It means the world. And I really want to continue to create a platform where people can unmute their mics and share their stories. I'm very excited for what's to come. I'm super excited for the people who I already have in the works. For the next set of 7 episodes, as well as having a couple of special episodes where I want to talk about very specific topics that people have asked me to talk about that I maybe have not covered in a normal episode, but just talking to a couple of people who are specialists in specific areas. So again, I thank you for all the love, all the support. If you guys have any questions, prayer requests, anything, please reach out to me. Please message me. I love you all, and I will see you guys again. Thank you for tuning in to Unmute Your Mic. You guys all have a great night.
Thank you for tuning in to Unmute Your Mic. Be sure to tune in next time when Jessica takes her mic off mute as she continues her journey to find stories that inspire and uplift our communities.